Back Office is parts funded by patrons. I want to thank each and every one of you for your support over the last year and previous years. It has been invaluable and it keeps me in diodes. So much love, and on with the video. Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the Back Office Teardown Lab. You can see it's all a bit of a mess here. However, I'm hoping it will start to make sense as I go through this. This is more of an end of year wrap up because of course you can see I've got so many projects on the go. It's insanity here. But I thought I'd just lead you through some of them just as a catch up really. It's not an unboxing, it's just what I'm up to and a little bit of a summary. So first things first, you can see the white Game Boy here, the white Game Boy of joy that I tried to create but I had issues with it. I have really serious problems with the buttons on this thing. I don't know if you can see that. They're driving me absolutely nuts. I'm definitely unhappy with the performance of this. So what I've done, I've gone on the internet and I've contacted this company here, look, Cool Spot Gaming, and they've sent me, I make it like as if they sent it to me, I bought it off them, but I wanted to check with them first, a set of buttons that look like the more original ones. My worry is, of course, that these were a black silicone thing, and I'm not sure it's the right compounds, basically. So I'm hoping these will give me a bit more push. So there's a bit more spring in the step of those ones. So that's a project I'm going to be doing shortly. I mean, it's nearly Christmas now, right? How are you guys, by the way? Are you wrapping up for Christmas? Are you done with work now? I know a lot of you people have stopped work on the 18th. I'll put this away. Not me, of course. I'm all the way through, boys. Okay, right. So we have the joysticks. I don't know what to do with these, by the way. I have so many of the joystick things, and I have quite a lot of buttons and quite a lot of leads left for this, so we might have to do something with those. Just going to probably chuck them in a box. I do believe one of you will have won the contest, of course, to win one of these joysticks. I'm going to be picking that out at random from the list, and that was the tester. It's still working, by the way. The joystick tester from last time is actually pretty damn good, so I'll probably keep hold of the tester though, because that's going to be super handy. I do still have to play with the DF robot module. I have got the electric wheelchair. I don't know, you may have seen that in my Discord or Twitter ready. I've taken off the seat, I've got it down to its chassis, got new batteries, so my big old robot wars style project almost is something that will be underway, but I'm going through it as a systems approach. There's a lot of design work on that. I really need it to be a real project, so we're going to be taking our time with that. But what I have discovered, there's a really interesting board for the Raspberry Pi. It's an autopilot board that when you put it on there, it's kind of for drones, and that's essentially what we're making. It allows you to set waypoints and do all sorts of stuff, you know, internally, which that'll be really cool programming those up. What else? We'll go on to the Famicom in a minute because I want to close this. These came just the other day, came to my door in the usual way. The postman said, "Here's your crap today." Okay, okay. So these are single inline turned pin connectors. I'll show you them actually. I don't know if you've ever seen single inline sills. So these are a sill. That's what a sill looks like, and you can see it's turned pin. That means it's a circular thing rather than the springy sockets that you usually see. So these are higher quality. And I've bought a whole bag of these because I've got that TI-98 computer that needs some work. And it's quite hard to find big format sockets. So these are ideal because you can make up any size socket you want with those. And the reason is, I need to change the big processor, the TMS9900, and I managed to get 2 of them, would you believe, from the Far East. And it's hard to see, but they actually are a monster. The scale is belied when you don't see it in a PCB, but if you look at my finger, that's a big old chip there. So I'm going to have to be doing some solder sucker action on it. But what's really cool, if this is the problem, that means that TI will be up and running again. So we'll definitely be doing a video over that, maybe record that over Christmas. So I'm chuffed really that sometimes these parts take so long to arrive that you forget about the project. And then you're like, okay, what was this for again? So I'm going to put that right there on the desk so I don't forget that. What else to show you? Oh, so many things to show you. Now, if you recall, I was so kindly sent one of these. This is a deburring tool, and it's so useful for 3D print. It's unbelievably useful. I'll show you where we use that. So if you've got a model like this 3D print, it saves your fingers when you need to take out all of that chaff. See, it's basically a knife, and you can see it's got a geometry where it follows whatever you're trying to cut. Now, I didn't realise how invaluable these were till I was sent one. This is a proper Noga handle. So if you see Noga, N-O-G-A, that's the proper one. And you can unlock them and change the bits. So that's pretty cool. Now, I did break this and I had to get a new blade. I've been the old one. They become really annoyingly useless when you get the end off because you can't use it for anything else. I didn't realise that you would go through blades, to be honest. So I did go on the eBay. And I got, I think it was 12 quid or so, thereabouts, right, which is a fraction of the cost of a normal Noga. This other deburring system here, and it's a bit smashed up in the box. Anyway, what does it matter with throwing that away? But this is super heavy. This is a very heavy metal handle, and you can see here it's spring-loaded. So it's got a spring-loaded mechanism, so it's not like the, oh, that's kind of sharp. It's not like the original Noga where it's got a locked unlock. This is something a little bit more robusto, and it came with 3 sets of bits here. So you've got the first bit, which is pretty much the same. It's kind of fine. I think you can get a finer one, but it's fine enough. That's what you want for 3D printing, yeah. I don't know if it's called an S10 blade here. It might be a standard. Who knows? Hopefully it is. And then you have, oh no, they all say S10 blades. I don't know. Maybe. Seeing how they're all in basically the same packaging, who knows? Let's ignore the package. I don't know if it's S10, it could be anything. But you can see here there's a much bigger one here, and then this one is the same again but in a different material. So I think that's a hardened steel, and this one might be an aluminium. I'll have to check through those. Let's just try a fit though, shall we? Let's just try one of these ones as a fit in that new handle. Suffice to say, of course, these are normally pretty bloody expensive, so getting in this way is ideal. So I'm going to push that in, push the collet down, in it goes. That's really nice. It just locked in, you heard that. And there are 2 sizes there because it does have 2 fitments. I think it's supposed to go all the way in though, so probably best to do that. Let's try that. I mean, this is a bit of scrap, by the way. Although it's got the buttons in, I broke it. You can see the crack here. This is just a bit of scrap of the first model of that joystick I made. Oh, yes. Look at that. That is a good cut there. So that would be handy actually to keep one of them with one particular blade in, like the big blade, and one of the small. But if you do know what's the difference in these blades and the materials, I would really like to know. Again, I suspect it's when you're cutting or deburring rather different materials. I think that's why these exist. But let me put those aside. Hopefully won't lose them. I have a tendency to lose them. There's a massive packet of scalpel blades somewhere. Okay, the next project we're going to be looking at, of course, is the Sega Saturn. And if you watched the earlier video, I did tweak the laser in there, and that started working. Someone said if you put an audio CD, you should be able to see if it reads that, and that'll be cool. Now, I do need to try to get hold of an AV out. I do have a lead from my PC Engine adapter, AV amp, which I believe is a Mega Drive 2, so I'm hoping that will be compatible, but we won't know until we try it. But I do have something that will help the testing of this. And it's got some heft to it. I got this free on Facebook Marketplace locally. We haven't actually done a video or anything on this. You're just seeing it for the first time. Look, that is a really long lead. So it's got a super long lead. But basically it's a transformer. Let's show you there. It's got the rating written on it. Primary 220 volts, secondary 110 volts. So this is suitable for the American things and kind of the Japanese. You're talking about running your equipment 10% higher than it should be, which was going to make the regulators and work a little bit harder, but I'm not too worried about that. So we probably will use this for testing Japanese things. And then I found this actually in a bucket at work, because sometimes when you buy monitors or laptops, they come with random leads, and this one happened to come with what I think is a US lead. That's an earth. That's the bit that throws me really. I'm not sure US has the earth pin, but anyway, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure it's one of those. and that's the kettle lead. So that could be pretty useful. And just to show you how that plugs in there, it just plugs straight into the front. So that's really awesome to have that. And it does mean some fun things really, because you sometimes get dual power things, don't you, that say 240 volts, 110. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to run this like a PC or something, run it with a 110 supply and see what happens. Although I'm not sure on how much current. That's interesting. It says fuse 800 milliamps slow blow. That doesn't sound like it's got that much juice on it, but 800 milliamps? Is there anything written on it? That doesn't really sound juicy enough. The guy said to me that he used to use it for testing televisions and fixing TVs, because as you know, when you get those arcade machines, the CRTs and things, they often are 110 volts where they're brought in from Japan or the US, and that is an 800 milliamp fuse. So he didn't blow the fuse clearly, so that's probably going to work. Let's put that aside. Oh my word. And then that leads me, of course, to the Famicom here. Now, if you have a Nintendo Famicom, you will find that when you try to plug it into your TV, it won't work because it's NTSC-J. That's NTSC Japan. And the best you're normally likely to get in most TVs in the UK is a picture but no sound. So I was really fed up with this, and I'll show you the part that's in it. This is a board that lives at the back of this. And you have your power in, which is really annoying because it's centre negative. It's a centre negative power supply, so it's really annoying that you can often have an issue with that. And then of course you have an RF out, and most things aren't RF these days, so that's its own problems. And then there's a couple of switches that don't really, I never really found what these things do. They're supposed to be channel or audio or whatever, just ignore that. So you've got the modulation system in here, you've got the power converter, so it's a power supply and video card basically, and that connects to your Nintendo via a ribbon cable. And this was driving me nuts because I wanted to do a video, which I haven't done yet, on this. So this bit on here is the adapter that you need to use the Famicom disk drive. There's a little floppy disk drive, and I'll go for a video on that at one point. This adapter actually emulates that whole drive, and it's plugs into your PC. It's got flash on it, enough flash to hold every game made on the Famicom, believe it or not. So you don't need that whole drive mechanism, which, you know, often it can be susceptible. It needs like new belts and all sorts of stuff like that. You can see this is a bit jank. It's from Bai. So what I've done is, and these will be available on the back office shop in very limited run. It's a very limited run, limited quantity. I've made a new board for this. So this actually, let's turn it this way. This actually replaces that in its entirety. It really does. It replaces it in its entirety. All the holes line up, things like that. And what you have here is, all you have to do is basically desolder your original board here, and there's a couple of wire points here. I'm trying to remember. See, these wires here, the power, they're attached here. Just pull them off wherever they're attached, and you solder it here in place. I haven't bothered using the through hole because, of course, I use this for experiments, so I'm in and out, so I just solder it in. But normally you just push them through from the other side and solder them through hole. Same with this. It's the power lead, do it from the other side. And you screw it in. It fits in exactly the same place. You have the exact same ports there. You don't have the switches. So the early version had switches, but they really didn't do much. Got rid of those. And then, of course, you have this, which terminates in a standard composite lead. So you have a composite audio and video. And this replaces all of the jank power supply, everything like that. So you get a really clear picture. If you're lucky, which so far I've been, you doesn't have any jail bars, anything like that. So it's super good. I mean, it's the only way to use them, frankly. And it doesn't involve cutting and messing with your board, which apparently a lot of people do, and they damage these. I've got to really have a big shout out to Simon Locke for really helping me with this big time, because it had a lot of issues. Because my board was duff basically, and it was killing CPUs. So he's really helped me out on this, and then testing this out. So that's cool, and it should also work. I've got one somewhere. There's another Famicom board which has a slightly different pin out, and that's what that's for. So you can connect it to the later revision boards. So that's what that is. Again, go on the backofficeshow.com website if you're interested. Again, super limited run. I really don't know how many I'm going to be making of that. And start using your Famicoms. that would be absolutely amazing to do that. Right, what else? Oh, there is something else I want to show you, and it's related to this. I went out and about, and for, I think it was £15, £20, thereabouts, I managed to pick up this, which is a little telly. Look at that, isn't that cute, a little telly? If I turn this on, is it still on? It's gone into standby. Oh. Let me just check we're actually plugged in. I think we're all plugged in. Let's turn this off, and then we're going to turn it on. There you go. Oop, yeah. So it's actually a tiny little telly with composite inputs, and you can see that it's working well with this. This was designed so you could actually run your Famicom unit on a modern TFT screen, but of course if you've got a CRT with composite, of course it will work super good on that too. So yeah, 15 quid, and this has got a little story behind it because I actually went on eBay and found the original remote control. So apparently they were making these since the 80s, these Centra TVs. They've got obviously analog tuners, but check it out, it's digital. It's a digital TV, that's why it's got an on-screen display, so you can RGBify these potentially. And it's absolutely perfect, of course, for this type of testing. So the annoying thing is, though, I found the original remote control for this on eBay, and then when I contacted them to paid for it, everything, and then they pinged me and said, yeah, sorry, we can't send it to you because the battery bay was corroded. And I was like, well, okay, just send it to me anyway. I don't care. It's a £5, right? I'm going to fix this thing. And they binned it. Apparently they binned it and they refunded me the money. I was like, whoa! Because how are you going to find another one of those for this thing? So yeah, if you have the whereabouts of a Centra remote control for this thing, let me show you the back. So that's cool. You've got the if headphones, brightness, contrast, color, and then you've got here a switch to put it through the TV mode or the composite inputs. And then of course you have the external antenna and a power. Oh, and that reminds me something about the Famicom board. Our board, by the way, means that you can put any power supply in it. I've got a modern high-quality regulator, full wave bridge rectifier in there as well. So you can put your power in of any kind of modern system, center positive, center negative. It doesn't matter. It will work either way. That is absolutely brilliant because then you don't have to use the old janky Japanese power brick. Now, something I would like to cover, seeing as we're at the end of the year, I would really like to say a massive shout out and thank you for the people in my Discord and Twitter, of course, who have really kept me sane this last year. Because, of course, we are wrapping up the end of year thing. Oh, and we didn't even do the flash cart yet. So many things here to do. And I'd really a big shout out and thank you for those guys because, you know, through all this, the ups and downs we've had last year, and I have to admit there's been some really dark days as well as really happy days right here for us all. I'd like to take the time to say a really big shout out to, I'm going to use your handles, by the way, because I don't know if people like their names mentioned or not, so I'm going to use your handles. No particular order. Sad Ken, Chrissy, Asnava, Zoinks, Woodpunk, Andrew Dalton, Rob Taylor, Gary, Floating Fat Man, Cragger, Argan, Pointer Function, Game Whisperer, Tig K. Laurie, Mindflare Retro and Tilo, and of course everybody else. There's too many people to name, but I'm mentioning the people who've really been there all the time, you know, who've really been helping me through this, and I hope of course in some small way I've helped you guys at home through this. I'm really hoping that there's going to be some more videos out before or during Christmas period. Let's see how that goes, but if we don't speak before then, thank you so much. Have a wonderful holidays. I know some of you are starting them now. Take care of yourself, look after yourself, and let's try to make the best of the end of this year. As ever, thanks for watching.